Welcome to the Authority Pod Show. This is a show where every single week I answer my audience's questions on how to create 100 plus piece of content per week in 4 to 5 minutes that actually closes deals without being an algorithm puppet or consuming any of the social media apps yourself ever again. Now, if you want me to answer your question on the next episode, there's a link down below. You can go ahead and you can submit your question there. It will simply pop up a video, ask almost like a form, and you'll have my face in it, and then you just simply ask a question and I'll answer on next week's episode. So again, that is the first link down below in the description. Okay, so if you're new here, I said I answer all your questions, so let's get right on with the show. Okay, so the first question that's come in from Anton via Instagram. I'm getting good engagement on my content, but not many leads. Any suggestions? So first of all, I don't care about engagement. And the way you've worded the question, Anton, probably means you're focusing on the wrong metrics, okay? So it can be quite difficult when posting content to not completely just judge your success on how many likes, how many followers, how many comments, because what typically happens with most entrepreneurs, they post the content, they then check back in the first 10 minutes, keep refreshing to see how many new likes it's got, how much reach it has, let's say it's a reel, and then they get disheartened when that bit of content didn't do quite as well as they thought it did. Or, as you said, if you're getting good engagement, wow, I got 10,000 views on my last reel, but I still don't have any leads, okay? And it really comes down to why you're creating the content in the first place, okay? So for me, I literally do not care about likes, comments, followers, or any of that stuff. All I care about is how many leads I'm getting in through the door every day and how many of them we are converting into actual deals. And content just plays one part in that. So first of all, Anton, you really have to decide why you are creating the content in the first place. If you're creating the content to be a content creator, that's absolutely fine. Full transparency, this won't be the talk show for you. There's people far better qualified who can speak to you about how to create content just purely as a creator. If you're creating content as a business owner to actually close that into deals, then that is what you should be focusing on. And I know it's difficult, but you need to almost remove your emotion from the numbers and the what I call the ego metrics on those social media platforms and really focus on how can I create content that gets leads. Now, that kind of leads into a bit of a deeper question is, why do you create the content? Okay, what purpose is it for? I create content purely to nurture my lead base, okay? Yes, you get inbound leads. Yes, you get more eyeballs and exposure and you get all that good stuff, right? But I really create my content to nurture my current leads. We still use all usual marketing methods, okay? Even though we put 100 pieces of content out per week, we still use all the marketing methods, all right? Of outbound, paid advertising, and of course content. So people come into our world, and I know most people aren't really ready to buy immediately, especially when we've got a $10,000 package. Again, I don't know how much your package costs. Okay, let's say it was $3,000, $5,000. To think someone's just going to watch a reel, become a lead and buy does happen, all right, but it's not really typically how it will happen. So you've got to kind of emotionally remove yourself from the metrics and now really put, okay, why am I creating this content, and judge your success on the leads and the deals closed, okay? Secondly, just to come on to your question in terms of what content you are creating. So if you're creating content to be a trend, or you're looking at just, open up your camera and trying to do a reel, copying someone that you saw do really well in terms of engagement, that's not really the right way to go, because you're not going to be showing off your expertise. And it's important to know that people buy from people, okay? If you look at, just literally scroll down your Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn's probably one of the worst at the moment for it, and keep scrolling down and look, in 60 seconds, you'll get about 10 to 15 experts in your industry all saying a similar thing in a different way, okay? Usually by like a written post or a pretty scripted reel. As a consumer, as someone who you want to turn into a client one day, it's really difficult to who do I trust, okay? So you really got to think about what type of content you are doing. So if you look at what I'm doing now, I can't fake this. No one else can copy this. No one else can copy this format, because I am answering the questions that you're asking me in a natural, unscripted way. No one else can copy that. it's really showing off my expertise, okay? If you think it's valuable, of course, right? So it's also what type of content you are creating that leads on to that. So there are a couple of points on why to stop focusing on engagement and start focusing on metrics which matter, which is leads to deals. Now, again, just to recap, you should be using your content to nurture leads. If you're doing it purely just to get leads, that's the only way you're getting leads at the moment, then you need to have a look at your overall marketing strategy and plan and really add in one outbound, one paid ad method if you can, and use the content to nurture the leads that come from there to close more deals over a longer period of time. So I hope that answers your question. Question number 2 is Olivia, which has come in from the email list. I've been seeing you talk about content farms. Can you explain the strategy? I thought this question would come up at some point. Okay, so the last few weeks I've been speaking more about content farms and what we're doing with some of our partners and clients and what we're doing ourselves, and we're really scaling this over the next few months. So content farm as a strategy, I haven't created. Full transparency, I haven't created it. I'm not the creator. I don't know if anyone else calls it a content farm. That's just kind of what I call it. Essentially, you will see a lot of the top players in this space. I mean, the people who have millions of followers on YouTube and subscribers and all that sort of stuff, okay? And are doing very well business-wise as well, really distribute their content at a mass scale. So what they will typically do is they will record a long-form YouTube video, and then they will hire 30 to 50 virtual assistants who each individually will chop up that content how they see fit and post it on their own social media channels. And typically these channels will be something like, if it was me, Gregory Cooke Inspiration, Gregory Cooke Motivation, Gregory Shorts 123, or you've probably seen them all and consumed them all over YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And what it's essentially is that they do, they're able then to have more chance that those more eyeballs on their content, and also it's not directly coming from them. So it almost looks like from a perspective point of view, oh wow, this person must be doing really, really well and must be really big because he or she has got other people, creating content based upon their content. When in fact, a lot of the time it is just them creating and hiring virtual assistants to really do that for them. So that is the overall strategy. Now, I've kind of put a bit of a unique twist on it because in my business, I have a rule that everybody wins. Okay, I want my clients to win. I want my staff to win. I want to win myself. And when everybody wins, it creates a really good culture. Really moving forward with the business. So what we've done is we are doing the same, hiring virtual assistants. Okay, paying them around $300 per month. Again, there's no set hours with that. They just have to produce and curate a certain amount of content per week. And then we're also giving them, covering all their software tools, and then giving them 5% affiliate link commission direct into our sales funnel. Okay. So for some of these, virtual assistants from where they are in the world, they are able to really earn, life-changing money from our business, and it's good for us because it gets more eyeballs on my content. So what the whole process actually looks like is I will record this talk show now. That will go into a folder inside Google Drive. The content farmers, content distributors will have access to that folder, and they then chop up my long form content into medium and short form based content multiple times and edit it in their own way and then distribute it on their channels with an affiliate link directing them to our main sales funnel. Okay. Now, what's so good about this way is they win, but also every single person creates the content in a different way. So we can watch this talk show back, me and you, and I would chop up different bits than you would chop up, okay, into short form content. You can then go ahead and edit it, and we'll both edit it slightly differently. We'll use different subtitles, we'll take different clips. And over time, as your Google Drive of all your talk shows that you've done or your long form content grows, when you hire a content farmer today, they might pick up something that you did 2 years ago and then redistribute it again. So it's kind of like an evergreen wheel of content that drives people to your main sales funnel to then get leads and then to close deals. So that's how we're doing it differently, and that's how I'm really using content farming. Again, I'll probably do a whole separate video on just content farming itself because it's a really, really powerful method. And the way we're doing it, I said everybody wins. So hope that answers your question, Olivia. Jason via Instagram has sent in a third question. I'm running a lead generation agency. I have 2 offers, currently at $40,000 per month, and have issues scaling fulfillment as I have no time left. What should I do? I feel your pain. So I'm not sure how much you know, Jason, about my backstory, but I ran a 40-person digital marketing consultancy / agency, and it got so complex, and we really hit a ceiling, okay, that I, at that point, couldn't get through. I was working 16 hours a day, off my feet. My wife said that I looked like an absolute zombie, which was true, and I lost all my health, and it just, the wheels really started to fall off. So first things first, on a personal note, make sure you are looking after yourself. I know it's difficult when you have got staff and it's growing. So make sure you're looking after yourself and health first, because that is not a road you want to go down. And I'll cover that probably in a separate video, or if we ever meet, I'll tell you personally my actual health story with that. In terms of your question though, you've really hit the nail on the head in the first bit. I have 2 offers. If you're at 40K a month and you have 2 offers, reflect on those offers, see where the majority of your revenue is coming from, because I bet it's from one offer and one type of client. And when you look at, and when you actually find out, let's say it was a lead generation done for you offer, okay, we'll get you 100 leads a month or something, let's just say that was the offer. And you've got another offer which is like, we'll do it with you, or maybe a consulting based offer. If 80% of your revenue is coming from the one offer, focus on that and literally cut out the other out your business. Then inside the offer, review your clients and look at the clients who are doing it best. Look at the clients who are getting the best results for. And not saying fire the rest of your clients, but moving forward, only take on those type of clientele. Okay, really focus on that, because that's where the majority of your revenue coming from and the majority of your results is coming from, because they will then stay with you for longer and longer. As I'm sure you know, it's much easier to sell to an existing client than it is to a brand new client and keep chasing new clients. In terms of scaling the fulfillment, there's really two sides, of your agency: sales, fulfillment. Okay. So let's just quickly speak about the sales, because for me, I could fulfill, and I created really good fulfillment systems, but I struggled to manage my time efficiently. My time was so consumed on the sales side that I lost a lot of aspect and perception on the actual product, and wasn't focusing as much on the product, which over long term will have a detrimental effect. So sales fulfillment, let's take the sales side for now, okay? 3 types of marketing: paid, outbound, content, okay? You got to leverage your time. As the founder of now a busy agency, you have to leverage your time correctly and really protect it. So let's start off with content. Leveraging your time to create content. So what I'm doing now takes 45 minutes a week. My content's done. It gets published into 100 plus different pieces of content by leveraging VAs, systems, AI, and multiple different tools. Okay. So I'm able to create the content in 45 minutes. All right. So find your medium. If that's a blog post, if that's written, if it's audio, if it's videos like this, whatever. Find it where you can do your content in under an hour per week. Secondly, outbound. Focus on one outbound strategy. If your next goal, let's say, is 100K per month, that's what you want to scale to, then you don't need multiple different marketing strategies. It just gets really complicated. You've got your content strategy, outbound strategy, focus on one platform. Agency might be cold email, okay? Or it might be LinkedIn. And again, either leverage a software, VAs, or an agency. So I'll give you a live example. So for LinkedIn at the moment, we're just kicking off with an agency, okay? We're joining them next week to leverage my time now on this, called Cleverly. And I'll leave a link to them down below. Not affiliated with them at all, okay? Just been seeing the founders, know him from a network, and they look really good at what they do. They've got loads of trust pilots, and they cost like $350 a month, and their results look insane. So I've now immediately just taken that off my plate. I've leveraged someone else and what they're doing efficiently to take that off my plate. So with you, if it's cold email, if it's LinkedIn or whatever it is that you're doing, focus on one and leverage at the start. Thirdly is then paid ads. Just use one simple paid ad platform, okay? If probably the simplest one to get started with is something like either TikTok or Instagram, Facebook lead ads, where you have a video like this, just under 60 seconds, a hook, what you do in terms of social credibility as well, what makes you different, and then a strong call to action to some form of value, which you probably have something in place for that if you're at 40K per month, okay? So on the sales side, that in total should take you an hour per week, okay, in terms of actually being able to get the leads and generate them. In terms of actual then the sales, okay, and how do you scale fulfillment alongside the sales, a lot of people say, hire commission only sales rep, and that is definitely one route you can go down. But what you really need to be doing on a whole is creating systems for absolutely everything that you're doing, okay? So everything you do, create systems for. So as a founder and agency owner, when you're struggling for time, here's what I'll do. For the next 10 days, I want you to write down absolutely every single thing you do in your business. Everything. Don't leave a thing out, okay? And then at the end of that 10 days, review that list. And you will be probably horrified and shocked the amount of stuff that you are doing that you could easily outsource, leverage, hire for, or just remove to make it much simpler. Complexity fails, simplicity scales. You've probably heard that time and time again. It's very, very true. So write that list out and then figure out, okay, what can I remove? What can I leverage? And then get your time back, which is kind of linked into your question, right? So that's kind of on the sales side, and just obviously a little bit about, personal side. On the fulfillment side is the thing I absolutely love, and it's systemizing, okay? What I would do is open up Lucid Chart. It's literally a free 7-day trial. It's like $9 a month after. And if you haven't got this already, write down on a chart, like literally step by step, every single process of your delivery method. So now you should have one offer, one type of client, and really write down every single aspect of that delivery method, okay? Literally step by step by step by step. And then for every single aspect of that delivery method, create a template and a training video. Do it once. You're probably doing it every day yourself anyway, by the sounds of it, if you're struggling to scale for fulfillment, okay? It should be so simple that someone with literally no experience could be able to pick it up and give it a go and do it successfully within about 30 days. That's how I kind of measure with on the fulfillment side, okay? So write everything down, eliminate obviously anything that you don't need out of that process. You've got one offer, one client now, and then go from there, okay? So there's a couple of things that I'd be doing to really help you get your time back by removing certain things you don't need, both in the business and personally. And then on the fulfillment side, literally systemizing everything. So I said, I like to use Lucid Chart, step by step by step, template training video for every single minor step. Look then, what team members do I need? Might be a VA, it might be, I don't know, like an SEO person, it might be, I don't know what agency in terms of your niches, okay? But then look at that and then go from there. Also using project management tools like Monday.com literally saved my whole agency. It was just an absolute godsend, to be honest. We were using spreadsheets and it was everywhere. We used Monday.com with those systems and created our own systems and really brought back my time, okay? So there's a few things that Jason I'll be doing, so I really hope that answers your question. Number 4 is Sebastian via Instagram. Can you break down and explain your entire talk show content strategy? Okay, so the entire strategy behind my talk show content strategy is creating 100 pieces of content per week in 45 minutes, okay? And then I'm done. Now, the reason it's came about is I actually personally deleted all my social media accounts a few years ago. I actually hate consuming social media. I think it causes entrepreneurs more problems than it does good. Everyone's in comparison mode. And this shiny object syndrome everyone talks about is largely led because they're getting pulled in all different directions, and subconsciously they can't always control the urges to go in different directions. They make them doubt themselves. Like, entrepreneurship is hard enough without having 50 to 100 people every single day telling you to do something different in your inbox, all that sort of stuff, okay? So that's really how this method's come about. So step 1 is you create a talk show, right? So your talk show is something that you obviously is your level of expertise. You really got to identify what you want your current listeners to get out of it. So there's multiple different formats you can do this in, like I'm doing now, answering listeners and audience questions. You can get a guest on. You could literally have a potential client or whatever ring you live on Zoom or StreamYard for 45 minutes and literally interview you and let them offload all their problems and you just simply answer them. There's multiple different ways that you can do this. Okay, so that is number one. You've got to create the show. Number two is then editing and distribution systems. So this talk show I'm doing now, as soon as I leave here, memory card into my laptop, upload to Google Drive. I have a virtual assistant video editor who I pay $400 a month, who then will chop down this content and edit it, okay? And then we'll upload that back to Google Drive. And they'll mark on monday.com board, tick, complete. From then, my social media community manager and distribution virtual assistant picks it up from monday.com, uses Hootsuite, and literally deploys that across 6 social media channels and schedules it for the week. Now, there's also a graphic designer worked into that who does the thumbnails for YouTube as well. Okay, and they all work off the monday.com board. So just to recap, talk show, we've now edited and distributed it across all social platforms. Now, number 3 is then getting eyeballs to the content. A lot of people view organic as just free content, and it is, of course, it is free. But the way I look at it, you are going through all the effort of creating content. If you truly believe you're the best at what you do, which I believe you are, if you're watching this, if you're watching this now and you have to back yourself and believe you are, you have a duty, literally a duty to get as many eyeballs on that piece of content as possible to help as many people. And also when you let go of focusing on ego metrics like likes, comments, followers, engagement, all that sort of stuff, and you just purely focus on helping people and getting them into a lead, then obviously helping them further with your package, program, whatever it is that you are selling, okay? You don't really mind if one bit of content doesn't get as many likes, so you're not even seeing it. It's not even affecting you, right? So step 3 is traffic. Now, there's a few ways that we do this. First of all, we do use some paid platforms to grow our social media channels on autopilot. For example, we use Plixie for Instagram, we use Amfluence for Twitter, we use A1 Republic for Instagram growth as well, and TikTok growth. We use ProVidGate for YouTube and a bunch of other different tools that just work in the background and essentially get more eyeballs on our content. They're not that expensive. Some start from $49 a month, some go to a couple of $100 a month, but essentially just get more eyeballs on our content. Once we've got eyeballs on the content, any positive interactions, a virtual assistant inside my account will then go ahead and positively, interact with that person back and send them value add message with a link to the 32-page strategy document, or this masterclass, or the talk show, okay? And we'll just have a value add conversation and give them more value to try and get them then to become a lead. So that's really step 3 in terms of the traffic. And again, there's more that goes into that, but I'm just trying to do it in a brief enough walkthrough for you. And step 4 is then sale and scale. So how you then nurture that lead over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months with your talk show content. So every week they're seeing you, every day they're seeing you. They can't get you out of the head. You're providing so much more value and expertise rather than just a boring mission post or whatever authentic posts that people post these days all over social media, right? You're standing out because you're literally not hiding your expertise and being able to show it in a natural, authoritative format like this, okay? So with sale and scale, what our process is this. Someone becomes a lead, they go to the masterclass, they get the doc, they're now ready to apply. They apply, they hit the criteria, so it's sent them through to a thank you page. They now cannot book a sales call, okay? I don't have anyone book sales calls, I don't have a sales rep, and I don't take sales calls as such, okay? So once they have now submitted the application, what happens from here is I will personally, or my assistant will personally review the application. If we like the application, we send them typically 2 extra questions to answer, check they're happy, they know the price, they know what we do, all that sort of stuff. And once they're happy and confirm they're fine with the price and they understand what it is and we're happy with their application, I then send them a link to like a 20-minute onboarding call where we literally jump on the call. Hey, yeah, ask any questions you want. Cool. As I went through on the message, this is what we do. Are you ready to start? Yes. And then we go from there. Typically, it's like a nearly 100% show up rate and like an 80% plus close rate because they've gone through the whole process. They've got the value. They know the price and they know the whole, they're turning up to that call knowing it's an onboarding call. Okay. So
That's literally the whole strategy broken down. Again, there's a doc down. I'll probably link it down below this video, and you can literally go and get the doc. It's completely free with templates, tools, all that sort of stuff. And you can see that in a lot more depth. But that is my talk show strategy in a nutshell as such. Okay, so we got Martha via the email list. Okay. I'm posting daily on Instagram and LinkedIn for the last 6 months, but struggling to turn the content into deals. What am I doing wrong? Okay, so if you're struggling to turn content into deals, it probably means you're trying to take people from purely just your content and using your content as the way to get leads to them becoming a paying client. And that can work, and it does work, okay? It happens to me every day, and it will happen to you, okay? But over a long enough period of time, that compounds. And if that's your only way of getting clients, you're going to be waiting a long time and have to be very, very patient, which is absolutely fine for that to really, really work, okay? Now, I'm not saying you can't get clients from day one from that, because of course you can if you hit the right content with the right person. But if that's your only way of getting clients and that's your viewing on Instagram and LinkedIn, just to get clients from that, okay, then you need to be looking at your overall strategy. So it's really, again, 3 bits of the strategy. It's paid ads, outbound, content. Your content, as you said on Instagram and LinkedIn, that you mentioned, Martha, should be in place to nurture current leads and, of course, attract new people into your world and nurture them as well over time, okay? And in terms of the content type, a lot of people on LinkedIn, if you just literally pause this video and scroll down LinkedIn, in about 60 seconds, you're going to see so many people just giving their opinion, their expertise, and it becomes really, really overwhelming. Everyone just kind of blends into one, like this mass market. Okay, so it really depends if you're just writing written posts on LinkedIn, or maybe from fancy carousels, which again, I'm not saying they don't work. They do work, but if you're just looking very much the same as every other person there. So if you're using Instagram and LinkedIn, what I would be doing instead of just focusing on a platform, right, is really focus on a content type. Maybe record 6-7 videos for the week of 60 seconds answering a question like I'm doing now. You don't have to do a full talk show, right? And just posting that and trying maybe some different types of content. Also, what does your sales funnel process look like? If I reviewed your LinkedIn profile or your Instagram profile, what does the process actually look like to go from, hey, I like your content, to, right, I am now a paying client? Most people do 2 things. One, they overcomplicate it. They give the person who consumes the content and wants to take the extra step too many options, right? They don't know then what to take. Secondly, and this is probably the most common one, is that they don't tell the people who are enjoying their content and watching it how to become a client or how to become a lead as such, okay? So again, coming back to, are you creating the content as a creator, or are you creating it as a purely, to get business? And you should be, if you're watching this, creating it purely get business. So at the every single bit of content I post, you will see at the end there's a call to action. Okay, it's usually like 3 to 5 seconds. Hey, if you enjoyed this content, head over to my bio, click the link and get the free masterclass. So done for you, docs and templates. Done. Add something like that onto every single bit of your content if you want to get business and you actually want to turn people from these platforms into leads and then paying clients. So there were a couple of points to help you, Martha. So I hope that helps you really show a few ways you can turn content into actual deals. Okay, so number 6 is Ambrose via Instagram. Do you recommend focusing on one platform for content or multiple? Just aware I want to be really, really focused. So first of all, good job. Stay focused. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate. Now, this is one of the most common questions that you'll see, and most answers is just focus on one platform. And when someone says that, to me, it really means a couple of things, okay? One is that they don't actually have or don't know the systems, editing and distribution systems to be able to create content on multiple different platforms. So if you look at the most successful people in this space, Alex Hormozy, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, all the people say, oh, but they've got huge budgets and huge content teams. And they have, but they're posting on all different platforms, okay? They're getting more exposure and they're getting more eyeballs on their content. So just because you don't have a huge production team, it doesn't mean you can't produce content at a similar rate, okay? I mean, if you look at what we're doing, again, you can review, even what I've gone through in the show so far, right? there are ways you can build distribution systems yourself. So you can create one type of content, and we're going to come on to, and still distribute it. So instead of focusing, hey, I want to focus on one platform, I would instead say the question should be, I want to focus on one content type. So rather than saying, oh, should I just focus on one platform, focus on one content type and see how you can redistribute that content on all different platforms. Because I agree, if you are creating individual content for each individual social media platform, for LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and you're creating individual pieces of content for each platform, you're not a business owner now, you're a full-time content creator. And for me, that literally makes my brain hurt. That would literally tire me the hell out of me and wouldn't be enjoyable, and you'll have content creation burnout, which is a lot of things that people talk about, right? So instead, reverse the questions, go, what content type can I focus on that gives me maximum distribution on all social media channels? For me, that's always long form video, because you can chop it down. You can't hide expertise on a video like you can do on a written post. People get to know you much more personally. Remember, people buy from people. Okay, so really be focusing on literally one content type, and then redistributing that on all different, all different sort of platforms. And just to add on to that, I remember a conversation I was watching before Alex Hormozy was Alex Hormozy and was known everywhere. And he did this video on how he paid Grant Cardone X amount of money. And one of the questions he asked him on that was, how did you essentially explode your social media channels? I can't remember the exact words, but that was essentially the base of the question. And Grant Cardone's response was, I just started posting 4 times more than I was. He started posting like 4 times daily, okay? And Alex Hormozy then took that, and then I remember a video that he did the other week, and then he mentioned that, and it was how he's now exploded his growth by just producing more and more and more content, but really not using the same amount of time, said really leveraging distribution, time, and the content forms, okay? So when someone says you just focus on one platform, like, I do agree in some ways if you're going to create individual content for every single platform, but instead I would say create one content type and see where you can redistribute that, because there's so many AI tools, so many softwares, virtual assistants, all that stuff, who can maximize your time and help you leverage, and that you can leverage to get you a better result. Because for me, I'm going through the effort of creating this content. I want as many people to see it. And also, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. A few weeks ago, my old Facebook account got hacked, literally completely hacked. I lost 2,500 connections that I built up over the last few years. Gone. Finished. I couldn't get back into it. If I was just purely focusing on my platform as Facebook, my business would literally be stuffed, okay? So really, really important also diversify, like you would do an investment portfolio, diversify your content platforms, create one type of content, distribute it, diversify, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. And be self-aware enough that if it's taking you too much time, you're spending too much focus, and it's becoming now almost like a job rather than running the business, review what you're doing and work out how you can spend under an hour a week on content and maximize the results, time, efficiency, and distribution. So again, I hope that answers your question, Ambrose. So last question is from Jody, which is via the email list. I'm a women's health coach, getting around 250 leads per month at 25K per month, but I'm only converting around 3 to 5% leads into deals. I saw your lead flow chart. Can you break it down for me? Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen the lead flow chart, let me just verbally explain it to you. What the whole concept is, if I looked at 95% of the businesses online, they're saying, rising ad costs, I'm not getting enough leads from my outbound, all this sorts of stuff, right? But you actually don't need that many leads to make the amount of money and revenue you want to make, right? You just need to be working the current leads you've got in a better format and a better way. So what I did is, a few years ago for my agency, I essentially created this lead flow chart, which what happens as soon as a lead comes into our sales funnel, okay? And there were a few key pointers that I'll go through. And again, I'll leave a link to the chart down below this, right? But first of all was number 1 is leads should be called ASAP, ideally in 5 minutes. There's some crazy stat that one of the largest, was it Pipedrive, one of the largest software companies did, is that if you call a lead within 5 minutes, you're 15 to 20 times more likely to convert that lead into a sale. So speed is really, really, really important, okay? So first thing, as soon as a lead comes in, ring it within 5 minutes, okay? Now, that's not always possible. I understand that, but you should be ringing it ASAP, okay? Even by just doing that, by picking up the phone to a new lead that comes on, you're probably ahead of 90% of the online businesses out there. Most online businesses do not pick up the phone to their leads, okay? They just sit in an email list, sit in a CRM that they've got on Go Level or ClickFunnels or something, and they don't ever pick up the phone and speak to them. It's madness, okay? You're literally going through all the effort of getting the lead. Actually pick up the phone and have a conversation with them, all right? So that's number one. So as soon as the lead comes in, ring them within 5 minutes or ASAP, definitely within half an hour when you can. And again, you can leverage VAs and all different stuff for this, which is a completely separate question and video, which I will go through. So you rang the lead, they're in 5 minutes. Now we have a 15-day, what I call value flow. Over the next 15 days, until the lead responds to us, they're going to get 7 different touch points on 4 different platforms, okay? So over the 15 days, we're going to reach out to them via phone, email, text, and social media, adding value, using the content that you've created, like a talk show like this or any content you're creating, as a value add. Using, maybe let's say you've done a masterclass with a free document like we have, using that, giving that out as a freebie to add value. Answering a question is adding value. There's so many, I think on day 6 on the lead flow, I think it is, we actually then offer a customized 2-minute Loom video on their business and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so you can think of different ways on how you can add value, and the whole point is that over the next 15 days, while they're hot in your system, that you're doing everything you possibly can to convert that person into an application or a book call, depending on what your sales process looks like. Now, if that person does not respond to you for the whole of the 15 days, or responds to your VA or sales rep, whoever's doing this, or setter, as people like to call them now, does not respond to you, they then go into a 12-month value flow. Of course, they're added already into the daily email list, or however many times you email per week. I do 3. A lot of people do daily. And then every 3 months, the sales rep, the VA, or the setter will call them, email them, and text them. Okay, the email and text are automatic. The call is obviously not automatic because we haven't got robots and AI to do that quite yet. So that is the VA or your sales rep who will do that. So they will call them up every 3 months, the next 12 months, saying, "Hey, you signed up for this offer 3 months ago. I'm just wondering, how are you getting on? Did you implement anything?" And just kind of resurfacing ourselves to them in a personal way. So over the whole that 12 months, and there's over 50 different touch points via 4 different platforms, and you'll convert 10 to 20% typically more leads than you would do from just letting it, of course, sit there, not doing anything in your CRM and your email list. So that's kind of the lead to deal flow. There's a few more bits in that in terms of when they apply, how you contact them, when someone books a call, what to send them, like a WhatsApp voice note straight away. "Hey, thanks, your call will be with me. Here's an article, here's a podcast, here's my talk show." Again, just using the content as a nurturing tool throughout the whole lead flow process to convert more leads. But the biggest takeaway is make sure, 2 things. 1, make sure you're picking up the phone to these people. I know you're an online business, but pick up the phone, ring them. If they don't answer, contact them on SMS, social media, connect with them on social media so they see your content. Again, nurturing, and email, of course, as well. And really offer value. You don't just sell. Make sure it's value add. And then, of course, have a call to action where needed as well. So again, I hope that answers your question, Jody. But yeah, just to recap, pick up the phone, and secondly, use your content to nurture. That's why we do the content, and that's where the content will have the biggest direct ROI. It won't always be trackable. That person who originally came in from a Facebook ad actually ended up buying because they saw your talk show one week. Okay, that's difficult to track unless you actually have a conversation with them. But no, that's the purpose of the content, is to nurture. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. All right, thank you so much for tuning in to the Authority Pod Show. I hope it was really, really useful and you got a ton out of it. Now, if you want to submit your question for the next episode, there's a link down below to Video Ask. It simply pops up my face and will say, "Hey, have you got a question for me?" And you can then submit a video response back. Be as short as long as you like. Anything around content, online business, being a consultant expert, service provider, closing more deals, whatever it is, as long as it's obviously around this topic, I'll happily answer and feature you on the next episode. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.
If you enjoyed this video and you're an expert or consultant who truly knows you're the best at what you do, but you're not being perceived that way and you're stuck in the mass market personal branding dogfight, then click below to learn how to create 100 plus unforced piece of content per week in less than 45 minutes and closing 5K to 50K consultant deals within 7 days off the back of it. Look, I hate free training and hidden sales pitches everywhere online as much as you do, so it's not one of these at all. I give you all the done for you templates, tools, and a 30-minute live walkthrough of the strategy. There's no obligation to work with us or even apply, but I really hope it's helpful. Hope you enjoy this next video up here, subscribe, and look forward to catching you soon.